All right. Both cameras, 1/30th of a shutter speed. Aperture priority. Nighttime. f2.8 on the ZV-10, and then f4. I think he's going to check his mail. Maybe not. So it's 98 degrees, and it's almost 10 o'clock. So it's warm outside, folks. So we're going to look at the thing. I'm going to go by the park. It's a full moon, okay, but it's behind clouds. I'm looking for noise. Looking to see if I should put the exposure compensation down on the ZV1-M2. Okay, so I'm coming to the house. They look about the same. It's a little bit dark on the ZV1-M2, but that's because it's a 1-inch sensor. And I got 3 big dogs. So I'm looking at the light comparison. I'm trying to figure out if I should put on the exposure compensation. So I'm looking at the flaring, and I'm deciding then, okay? And the flaring does not look bad at all, okay? So I might leave it like this. And then I might make it a -1. It'll depend what happens at the stoplights, okay? So I'm just driving around the, see, it looks darker on the smaller camera, but I don't see any focus breathing. I can read the signs. Really tell at this light right here. Okay. So I'm waiting for all these cars to pass. How does the light look? So it's looking awesome on the ZV1-M2, and they look the same. The picture looks the same, folks. Okay? So I think I got it on the mark. The only difference is it's f4 on the ZV1-M2. No, that's compensation. No. No. ISO on auto on both of them. So you know what? I'm going to leave it like it is. I'm not going to do anything with the exposure compensation. What I'm doing is I'm looking at the billboard right here for the church. I'm looking at it very carefully. It looks good. So I'm going to leave it alone. I'm not even going to mess with it. Now the real test is going down this road where there's more light. And we're going to take a look at the lamps. And here's the full moon. Isn't that beautiful? I got it on both cameras. It's looking pretty good. Doesn't look too bad. So I'm trying to figure out how they deal so I can see clouds, all right? And both of you can see the moon on both cameras. So is there more noise on the ZV-E10? I think the picture is looking fantastic. There's the full moon again. I'm going to go in here. Okay, so I'm going to park right here and look at these lamps. Well, I'm going to look at the moon, okay? Now, I'm going to deal with exposure compensation. I got a -1, all right? And the same thing here. Oh, that's F4. I want the exposure. Okay. If I leave it at 0, I'm going to 1. Okay, it's +1. I'm going to go again. See, and with the 12-800, and I can see the clouds. Okay, at 1600 on the, and they're going crazy. So let me do it again. Let me go back to 0. Okay. So the shutter speed is going nuts at F4. So let's go down. And everything's stable. 1/30. They're both at a -1. It really looks dark on the, I can see clouds, but barely, all right? And if I go a little bit more, I can't see them at all. And it looks red on the Sony, or it looks yellow. I mean, it looks red on the ZV1-M2 now, but you can see the shadows. So let's do the same thing on here. On the ZV-E10, -2. Yeah. We're going to leave it just like that. Okay? I have to find the way out. I think make a left here. Didn't go far enough. Well, I'll just go back out here. I always mess up here, folks, in this parking lot. Okay, it is this one after this one. Okay. So there's the moon. How does it look now? The lights are looking okay. I'm looking at them. They're not flaring too much. They're in, I'm liking what I'm seeing on both of them, okay? So I'll leave it at that. So it's looking pretty awesome. I think the colors and stuff. I'm not going this route because I see traffic. It's not too bad, but I don't want to go messing with it on 1604. So I'm going to go a different way. So what am I doing? I have one on the power bank. That's a ZV1-M2. And I have the other one plugged into the 110 volt dummy battery on the ZV-E10. There is a dummy battery on the ZV1-M2. Okay? But it's nice and cool in here. I got it at 3. And it just went down to 94 degrees. So it's starting to cool pretty good. But still, it's kind of warm out. It was real warm today. 103. And then it went to 100. So we're coming up to the lights. I'm looking at the flaring. All right, I got a green. So what I'm looking at is it's pitch black, okay, on the ZV1-M2, pitch black. And I'm gonna hit the display a little bit. Yeah. Okay. Well, trying to turn off screen, make it like the ZV-10, and it's not working. And I'm looking at the bright lights, like that truck, and it's pretty well controlled on both. So what you're seeing is what I'm seeing on the screen, okay? So it's 55 miles an hour here. How does it look? I think it looks awesome right now. I'm liking this aperture priority. You know, I tried it in a program, and I did the same thing with the exposure compensation, but it's looking sharper on the ZV1-M2, okay? And it could be the LCD screen, folks. So the reason why I lowered it was I don't like looking at noise. And also the fact that when it gets up to 12,800 ISO, it's kind of blown out, especially on a 1-inch sensor. And the ZV-10 didn't get up that high, but still, with a bigger sensor, it can handle better in the dark, okay? So what I'm finding out with Sony is if you put it to a -2, it's looking good. All right. Looking at the screen, Yeah, you don't see any clouds now. It's getting black. Even with the full moon, but there's clouds in the sky, okay? Okay. Start speeding up to 60 miles an hour. If they want to pass me, go ahead. I have no problem. Let me pass them. So looking on both screens, okay, it's looking sharp. So I'm looking at the city lights. Huh. I don't see the flag. Wow. Usually they have a flag right here, but I don't see it. So when I'm testing out, by the way, I'm using the internal speaker on the ZV-1-M2, and I'm using the Rode lavalier on the ZV1-M2. Reason for that is the camera's farther away, and plus I get a higher pitched sound. Even if I have a surround sound on the microphone, that's why I got the lavalier on. So the microphone on the ZV-1-M sounded pretty good this afternoon, so that's why I did it. It's closer to me too. It's actually in front of me, right side of the well, as I call it. And the ZV1-M2 is on the speaker in the center on the dashboard. So it is in a cool spot, okay? And some people say, well, that's not a good idea, but you know, I hear a lot of things like, no, it needs to be, shouldn't be on a tripod. Well, I noticed that if it's on a tripod, it does stay cooler. So, the battery door is closed on the ZV-1-M. On the ZV1-M2, I cannot close the battery door. That's the way they made it. They didn't think you would make a dummy battery for this camera. So I'm not going all the way into San Antonio City. I'm just going to go up to the 410. But I might go up Nacogdoches. Haven't decided. There's the wee moment, folks. Whee! So right now at the very top, it's 120 feet below to the 281 highway, which goes north to south, central to the city. So you're probably seeing more on the ZV1 Mark II, but as I come down here, this is the shot. That's what I should do, is take pictures like that. So nothing is blinking. It's 1/125th of a shutter speed on the ZV-10 f2.8, -2 exposure compensation, but the ISO is at 1250, 1600, okay? On the ZV1 Mark II, 1/30th f4, -2 exposure compensation, ISO is at 2000. So it's different for each camera, okay? So when you look at the LCD screen, all right, it does look brighter on the ZV-10, all right, the road. But if you look at the flaring, they're about the same, okay? Maybe a little bit more pronounced on the Mark II. You know, I should start naming my cameras too. You know, like Mark Bennett does. He calls his ZV-10 Little Dougie. But it's looking good, okay? And I'm happy that aperture priority is looking good on both of them. Realistically, I think the Mark II is what I'm seeing. It's just that the sky is darker than normal. On the E10, because I'm looking at the yellow lights now. This is where the runway is. Yeah, they're both controlled right now. And this car slowed down. That's right, he was going 55. And I think I stay in this lane. I'm not sure. We shall find out. And there's the moon again, folks. Yeah, I'm going to go this way. Should have stayed in the other lane. So you can barely see the moon on the ZV1-M2 and on the, you know, it's right at the top of the screen, folks. But it's awesome. You're going to get a good shot when I make a left. Now, I don't think this interchange is as high as the other one, okay? I could be wrong. There's the moon, folks. It's looking pretty awesome, isn't it? Oh, man, you can't beat a shot like that. It's gorgeous. That looked like a Christmas tree. You know what? I think I'm going to stay on Nacogdoches. So the moon should be on your right as I'm getting toward the right. So you haven't been down Nacogdoches. There's Chester Hamburgers. Of course, they're closed. It's 10 o'clock. I'm trying to see what the gas is at the Chevron, but they're not advertising it. Yeah, 7-Eleven and Chevron are getting together. They also 7-Eleven and Citgo, I think. Or not Citgo. What is it? The green one. Oh, I can't remember. There's Bill Miller's Barbecue. There's Mama's Cafe. Valeria. Earth Burger. See, $3.39. If you have the card. And I can't remember if you have to make a right now and then on this. So we're now in homes and schools and the apartment areas. So both cameras are doing great. I'm happy. Just had a minor hiccup today, and I think what it was something shook and just turned off the ZV1-M2. The tripod it's on, I have to tighten it now and then. There's one leg that's loose that will rattle and shake. You can sometimes hear it in a deep muffled noise as I go over bumps and stuff. Pet supplies. Okay. Astronaut. Yeah, I get a lot of people that slow down. They see my LCD screens and they, is he a cop? So it's looking pretty good. Boy, this road is bumpy, folks. I like some of these buildings with the lights, you know, how they do the lights. They do an excellent job. Now, we're right next to a park. It's Ladybird Park. It used to be President Johnson's wife. So they named it after her. And you get all types of animals over here. Possums, skunks, raccoons, deer, coyotes. You'll get, I don't know if the ostriches come down here. They are in the, where my sister lives. Not the ostriches, the, oh, what is it? Birds with all the beautiful feathers. The peacocks. Okay. Let's see, what other animal? Okay, so here's another cement factory to the left. It's pretty big. So here's Wurzburg Parkway. I'm going to go this way. Yeah, Valero. I couldn't think of Valero. And there's the moon, folks. It's gorgeous. It's really gorgeous, okay? You can't beat it. It's just beautiful. Yeah, you don't see many semis on this road before. You might be getting off at, well, it might be O'Connor. Nope, Thousand Oaks, I forgot. So I usually come on here, you know, off of Pyramidal, and then get off at Thousand Oaks. But he's not getting off. Yeah, he is. There's a Cadillac. I like that multi-assistant center. It looks real nice at the night, you know, in the night. So there's some more city lights. There's the Wonderland. Usually make a left up here to Lookout Road. Yeah, I missed the light, folks. I'm not going to turn green. If there was a car here, it would have done it, but didn't make it. I'm going to turn down the air conditioning. So I counted, it's something like 15 seconds. Okay, so they got 15 seconds to get across the road. And then my light will turn green. There you go. See, it's a short light. It may be only 10 seconds, I don't know. I think I counted 12, but I thought I was counting a little bit too fast. So I didn't want to go down the highway. I was thinking of going to Nacogdoches, but we went down there this afternoon. No, we went down this morning. This afternoon, I took this road. So I figured, well, I'll avoid the traffic and the highway and the construction. So they blocked off to the left. It's a little bridge with the railroad that goes over it, but they considered it too dangerous to go underneath it. And they worked on it a little bit, and then they just left it alone, and then they blocked the road to prevent anybody to go underneath it. And that was over a couple of years ago, folks. So I think most people are in the business of where they only fix stuff when it breaks. They're not in preventive maintenance. So you see, the road is real nice right here. I wish they would have continued on all the way to Worswick Parkway, but so earlier at this stop sign, there was a railroad to the left. And it's always rocky right here. Now, most of this road is cement, okay? They were paving it along, a lot, and it wouldn't last. The ground really shifts in this area. Okay, so what am I seeing to the right? Trucks. Lots of trucks. So you see, it's handling the lights very well. I haven't decided if I'm going to put both of these up at the same time and play them. So both haven't overheated. Both are doing real well. Yeah, I'm not gonna. We've had enough driving tonight, folks. So, looks like it's been 52 minutes, yeah? And they're both looking good. So you see, I like looking at the lights and then looking in the LCD screen, see how the camera handles them. I look at the lights on the left, the lights on the right, look at the flaring. I'll go with this other entrance. There's the moon, folks. Can you see it? Yep, there it is. Isn't that nice? Yeah, I'll turn down the air conditioning. So on this test, I am looking at the lamps. See how the cameras handle it. Looking at the flaring. Yeah, I just missed the moon. It's looking awesome though. I mean, it's gorgeous. So I have a 24 millimeter prime, okay? So I can't zoom it. I don't think I can. Yes, I can. Oh my goodness. Look at that. I'll be darned. Let me do mine. Wow, they're both zoomed all the way. They look the same. Yep, there's the deer. Yeah, just looking for stuff. Yeah, you didn't see it. I didn't want to pick up the camera. So, since it zoomed all the way, let's look at some flaring. See how it deals with these lights. Oh wow, it's looking awesome. Okay. Green for go. What do you think, folks? It looks better at 50 millimeters. And this is not straight. Okay. Now it is. And that one is straight. Okay, it's plus 1.5 on both of them, I think. And it looks bigger on the Mark II than it does on the ZV-E10 though. Wow. Amazing. Yeah. Now we went to the cul-de-sac. Look at this sign. Okay. Now when I zoom it, it doesn't look as clear. So if I put it at okay, it's at 15 millimeters. Same thing here. I'm trying to match both, folks. Almost there. Yep. That's what it looks like. That's 1.1. Let's get it back to. Okay. They're matching now, basically. But this is what I want to show you. The moon, and it's too high. So let me raise this up. Let me raise this camera up. There you go. Which one looks better? Okay. I think it's looking better on the E10, but you see, that's a bigger processor. I mean, sensor. And let me move over here. So I got an hour's worth, okay, of video. If I put them together, it'll look too choppy. I mean, I can play it and then record the video, but I'm not going to. I'll just do it separate. I can cut them in half, you know, do 30 minutes. I don't know. I'll figure something out. But I want to thank you for tagging along. I have no idea, except that maybe a little shaking because that Lookout Road is pretty bumpy. But it turned off before I got to that Lookout Road. So, anyhow, who knows? Okay, I'm gonna go down this street. Yeah, you can't see the moon anymore because it's too high. Too high in the sky. Well, it's looking awesome. Let me straighten that up a little bit more too. Okay, so we're coming to this house. I always show this house. So you can see it pretty much on the ZV-10. You kind of see it. So I'm going to look to see if there's any noise on the E10 and the other one. Okay. So, if you like this type of content, please give me a like, subscribe. Any questions or comments, please put it down below in the comment section. Thank you very much for watching. And let me see. You know what? I'm going to turn up the compensation. Put it on park. And I'm going to go back to 0. Same thing with this one. There we go. So, 1/30th of a shutter speed. f2.8, 0 at exposure compensation, ISO 250. That's on the E10. 1/30th, f4, 0 exposure compensation, 1000 ISO. So it's higher on the ZV1 Mark II. And that's because of the smaller sensor. So anyway, on the ZV-E10, the colors are matching, all right? It looks a little bit darker gray on the, but if I turn it, yeah, it's still a darker gray on the ZV-E10, all right? And it's to the right, so that's why you don't get much of the fuse box. So anyway, remember, stay safe, keep smiling, and until next time, we shall meet again. Bye, folks.